dum 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 dum.
Dum 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 dum. I haven't done the intro yet. Hold on. Let's get the music. Let's do the theme tune. Play the theme tune.
We're hurtling
around in 14 issues.
We're hurtling around.
We're hurtling around in 14 issues.
We have been soaked in Fortean issues. Dum 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 dum. Fraser doesn't believe me when I tell him about the Mormon faith. Dum 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 dum.
No, I do. It's just. Yeah.
Fraser doesn't believe what Mormons get up to. Dum 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 dum.
No.
Fraser thinks I'm pulling his leg. Dum 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 dum.
I've got to be soaked before I find, you know.
We'll just let the. So I was looking at old covers of FHM and I was getting a bit misty eyed. So this is FHM magazine. I can't find the date on it. You lose again, Mr. Trump. The best gambling holidays on the globe. Be king of the pub. Bar tricks to astound your drinking pals. Darling, I can explain the gerbil. How to get out of trouble with women. 30-page summer fashion extra. That sounds a bit gay. 100 things you should have done in bed. Isn't it time you fertiled? Multiplex meltdown. Hollywood's hottest new actresses. And transform your slum. Be brilliant at DIY. So fertile. Ooh, brother, ooh. So if you want the proper dictionary definition, it is to I can't find
dum 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 dum.
So to fertile is to no, that's not it. Practice of cutting holes in the genital areas of people in photographs, then inserting one's fingers as a mean of deriving sexual pleasure. I cut a hole in Jenny's picture, then fertiled her for hours. That's from the Urban Dictionary.
I'm really angry with this, right? But someone's posted something up to Twitter.
Yeah.
And, right, so there's this country in the world. Americans, look, if you get your knickers in a twist about this, it's not my fault. Yeah. This country, right, is in the Balkans, and it's called Montenegro. Oh. It is the Black Mountain.
Yeah.
So, now here's the thing, right? Victor Emmanuel was reburied next to his wife, Elena of Montenegro. But they've censored Montenegro. For fuck's sake, it just means black.
I believe on the internet they call this the Scunthorpe problem, don't they?
The Scunthorpe problem?
Yeah, because Scunthorpe gets caught in what's it filters.
Oh, because of the Scunthorpe having a rude word in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I was thinking of the woman's, cha-cha. Which
yeah.
Well, there goes our monetization.
Oh, well, shit.
Hey, by the way, Fortean Words is brought to you by...
right? We're allowed to swear now.
Fortean Words is brought to you by JML, Argentinian Beef, Raid Shadow Legends. Oh, and the new sponsor we've got today is Palantir. I don't know what they do, but they're giving us money. So anyway, I keep saying Elena of Montenegro, she was 1 meter 80, so that's just under 6 foot. And his husband, what was? He was 1 meter 53, which is I don't know what that is in inches.
That's
sorry,
tiny. Holy shit.
Well, what is actually? Let me have a look. What is 1.53
actually, Hobbit, I've got an amusing. You don't need to listen to. You don't need to watch the video.
That's like manlet syndrome. That is pure manlet syndrome.
It's 5 foot. It's not even 5'1".
Yeah,
I do have a short, informative film to explain the Scunthorpe problem.
Dun 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 dun.
Interesting you cunt. We're talking about me. What? You're driving me fucking mad, you cunt.
She's buzzing at my cunt.
Pat, come on, mate, wake up. Come on, mate, get up. Oh, mate. Dirty cunt.
I too am from Scunthorpe.
You fucking stitch me up, you wash cunt. Just bite your cunt.
Fucking Australians must love Scunthorpe.
Strange little cunt called Craig Ralph. Cunt.
Scunthorpe. Scunny Scunthorpe.
That's called, if you want to watch it, it's called Rise of the Cunt Soldier Part 3, and it's literally every time someone says cunt in Rise of the Foot Soldier.
So,
It's 3 minutes
Right.
long.
So here's a thing, right? Rumble, I'm sure you're a fine platform, but
Yeah.
why on the front page have you got 9 intense yoga workout? It's literally a woman, right? And
What have
she's
you been
pulled
watching of it?
Why do
I
you
haven't.
think that's the top watched video, Hobbit? Why do you think that?
Why do you think there's an algorithm, Hobbit?
So I'll just describe this to the radio audience, right? If she's wearing a skirt, I can't see it, and her knickers are pulled right up her arse cheeks. It's leaving nothing to the imagination. And then right next to it, I assume it's some sort of dance video. It's a woman with a crop top on and her tits like.
And Hobbit has no idea why this is
No
the most
idea
viewed
why.
video.
Yeah.
Well, look, it's not taking apart an engine and reboring the cylinders. So why the fuck is it on my autism page?
Oh yeah, she was reboring someone's cylinder, alright.
Yeah.
Well, she's the one with cylinders because she's a woman. I've got some pistons for her, if you know what I mean. And by that, I mean sexual intercourse.
Speaking of overboard holes, have you seen that Bonnie Blue's pregnant?
That's a good one. Good segue.
Here's the thing, right? Now, you're like 11 years old, right? You're in year 7. And
your son goes, Dad, how do you explain probability? well, son. The pill has a failure rate of 1 in 1,000, and there was this lady called Bonnie Blue.
She's your mum. So here's the thing, right? You're going to school. You're year 7, right? And you know the kids. They've got their smartphones because parents these days are irresponsible fuckwits, and they, give their children unsupervised access to the internet. And like all the kids go, "I've seen your mum," and like, right here, do you want to see the video of you being conceived? And they just show that to him over and over. Now I'm assuming the unborn child is a boy. It could be a girl. Either way, everyone is going to bully that child and just say, "Here's the video of you being conceived," and that is just going to be so scarring. I met these 2 twins, right? Okay, so this is a real story. I'll change their name to protect their identity. We used to go to this Dungeons and Dragons group, and they're very sensitive, right? Like the dungeon master was describing like some violence in gory detail, and they started crying, and they left, and I turned to her and said, "What's wrong with them?" He said, "They're sensitive." And then, like a few days later, he said to me, "Oh yeah, so their mum, the way they earn money in the house is their mum, she's got an OnlyFans."
Oh.
And like people in school were showing pictures of like their mum's arsehole to them, and like I thought they were like some sort of strict Christian upbringing where they'd been completely sheltered, and I was like, is it all right for them to be playing Dungeons and Dragons? Do you understand? It's like you can fight demons in this game, and you can do necromancy and stuff, and like no, it's just the fact that they've been bullied all their lives because their mum's a whore. And look, Jesus, for one, I've got nothing against whores. I think it's an honest profession.
It's the world's oldest profession, isn't it?
I also think it's actually quite noble. It's a woman who's being honest about how much it's going to cost you. I think that in itself is an admirable. You see, I, with autism, appreciate when someone is just upfront with me and tell me what it's going to be. I don't like all this, faffing around. So I'm saying all that, but at the same time, I'm saying it must be hard to be the child of a whore, because especially if, like, with Bonnie Blue,
be right back.
There's just all this stuff. And by the way, Bonnie Blue is not the first, because I remember there was this thing like years ago. It's in the Guinness Book.
Well, there was
Records,
Lily Phillips before that. She banged 100, didn't she?
Well, there was this. I'm sure it was called like Debbie Does Dallas or something like that. And it was this woman who's like shagged 500 men in one sitting or one lane.
No, Debbie Does Dallas is a porn film.
So I can't. Oh, maybe it was called the Dallas 500 or something. But
yeah.
Suffice to say, there's probably someone's got an annotated list somewhere of like women who have shagged a lot of men in one go, and the numbers involved, and it's just like, look, this is going to be on the internet for all time, and you got children and basically it's just like, look, the child. I feel sorry for those children. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean they're innocent in it. Like the mum deserves, whatever consequences occur, doesn't she?
Well, it's a shame because it's like, in that Bible, I always thought it was really cruel when it's like saying, oh, that the punishments of the father shall be meted out onto the son.
Yeah.
And I never really understood it. And now, like, this, with a woman whoring around and like the entire world can see her taking 100 dicks in her ass. Sorry, 1,000 cocks in her ass and fanny.
Yeah.
It's like, the sins of the mother are going to be meted out on that child.
Yeah.
So, sorry to get a bit sort of preachy and serious, but it's not fair on that child, is it? That child. It's not their fault the mum's a whore.
Yeah.
Hey, your mum's a slut, huh? So that was the entire bit of Beavis and Butthead.
Right. So where do you want to start then, Hobbit? Do you want to start stone throwing or the children of Woolpit?
Chuck. Oh, we're not doing beef, are we?
We can do beef if you want.
Right.
We can do a bit of beef.
Not
too much beef.
Guys, Fortean Words, right? I thought we would start it. I was being very careful not to say
Hobbit had his own little Mandela effect going on because he's been abroad.
Well, that's the problem. You see, I've been on foreign time, so I thought it was 7 o'clock when it was like 6:30.
Yeah, so Hobbit's already done all the episode already.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You see, I've as far as I'm concerned, we're in hour number 2 of this show, and we're not. And we're having this great discussion about beef and how the diagram for how to cut up a cow is different in America, Argentina, and England. So, for example, the Americans just see it all as rib, but we've got far more.
They have their the Argentinians have their weird humpback cow, don't they?
Yeah, so the Argentinians have got like they call it the termite, which also can mean hump, and in their language it's kupim. But they got this weird knobbly hunchback of Notre cow. So whereas we got normal cows. You know how like when you say like you got normal people and then you've got like other people, and everyone knows what normal means. Yeah. So you got normal cows and then you've got Argentinian cows. Yeah, but Chuck, that was it really. It was just sort of saying like that certain cuts of meat are suitable for steaks.
Yeah.
But then other ones like
well, I found that stat out. I think this applies to Angus cows. I don't know if they're bigger. So if the cows if the cows are 1,000 kilograms, 465 kilograms are usable meat. So that's all your mince and stuff like that. I assume organs as well. And then out of that 465 kilograms, only 75 kilograms of that is then usable.
A steak.
Yeah, usable as steak. Yeah.
Yeah, but the rest of it.
And we've discovered the word broil as well, didn't we?
Yeah, broil means to burn, which is American cuisine in a nutshell, really.
Nice.
But it's like
kind of people.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't. Do we have porterhouse steak in the UK? I don't think we do we? I've never seen.
I don't think I've ever seen one. I don't know what happens if you ask for one. That might be different.
I mean, porterhouse looks very similar to T-bone, and we got those. And
it's a lot bigger and thicker, isn't it?
Well, it depends how it's cut, really. I'm sure that's what makes the difference. But I mean, for example, the Americans don't seem to respect that there's this thing called the neck and clod. And you got your chuck and your blade. You got a forerib, that's on the upper bit. You got a thin rib, that's in the middle. You got a thick rib, and underneath that you got brisket, which is good if you stew it. And we have shin, which is the foreleg, and we got leg, which is
Or
the
if you
rear
cook it
leg.
slow and low. The thing with brisket, it needs cooking slow and low, no matter what you do with it, doesn't it?
Oh, that's stewing, isn't it? Oh, that's
Oh,
what
you
I call
can
stewing.
you can cook it, just cook it slow and low, and that makes it tender as well.
Oh, what you mean, like if you was to do a low temperature roast, that
Yeah.
would cook it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, I'm not really used to roasting meat. I'm quite happy to what might be disparagingly called boiling meat, where you stew it. But yeah, I was saying that there's only certain cuts which are suitable for steaks, and the rest of it is stew or minced beef, or as the Americans call it, ground beef.
Yeah, don't forget what do they call rump? Round?
Oh, well, let's have a look. What's the American diagram say for rump? Let's have a look at the American. Yeah, they call round is the bit below, and rump is the bit at the top. And they also, yeah, so they do. For example, we've got sirloin, and that's a big bit, and then underneath sirloin we've got flank. But the Americans divide up sirloin into sirloin. Underneath that you got tenderloin, and underneath that you have top sirloin. And then short loin is closer to the rib.
So what's ribeye then? What's the thing in the middle of a ribeye?
I assume that's the rib, isn't it?
Oh yes, ribeye. Duh. Duh.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah, because the ribeye is bits you cut from the rib. And there's a French cut as well, which our butchers are happy to do, called côte de bœuf, which is the côte just means rib of beef.
I did find the Argentinian one as well, I bet. But Portuguese cuts of meat.
I said to the butcher, I said, "Oh, does that mean corner of beef?" And he says, "No, it's the ribs. It's the French for ribs." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that." Because I mean, it's not
fancy a nice cut of pieto, Hobbit, which is brisket.
Yeah, oh yeah, pieto. Well, actually, no. I looked up the definition of pieto. That's chest.
Oh, is it? It says it's brisket here.
Yeah, what? Oh, I know. In the
that would be chest. That would be chest because that's the bit over the rib, isn't it?
Mm. But yeah, and the thing is, like the Spanish cuts of beef are different to our cuts of beef.
Yeah.
So they got different names of it. Like for example, with the hunchback of Notre beef, they do something called hump, and there's a dish. It's an Argentinian dish for it called hump in the oven. And I mean, it looks quite nice, but the problem is, I was trying to watch this video, and it literally sounds like the channel No Nos, where they're doing butcher's garlic over and over again. And look,
wait, hold on. Are we just looking past the fact there's an Argentinian dish called hump in the oven?
Well, it's not. It's actually termite in the oven, isn't it, Hobbit?
Well, in the context of beef, it's hump.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that Auschwitz would
hump in the oven.
It's cupim. It's cupim no forno, isn't it?
Cupim al forno.
No, cupim no forno, not al forno.
Cupim no forno.
No forno.
I don't speak al fuego. Oh, that's not really Fortean. Sorry, just the president of Argentina has been in the news recently.
Has he, Mr. Milel?
He's done a pump and dump with a shit coin. And he could be...
has he done a hawk to a girl, has he?
He's done a hawk tour with a shit coin, and like he's severely crippled the Argentinian economy. But then again, when somebody
they have an economy? I didn't think they did.
Yeah, but to be fair though, when somebody
forno means oven.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Hobbit, do you know what a forno electrico is?
I'm going to hazard a guess here, right? That you, as a Sparky, would be interested in this term. So,
is this where you put your finger through a spark plug and for sexual gratification?
L'orto I diventata un forno. How about this one then, Hobbit? L'orto I diventata un forno.
Scotcho.
This car is an oven.
Butcher's garlic?
The car is an oven. It's not that means.
No, Well, it is if you leave it in the Spanish sun all day.
Do you know what a forno a combustione is?
Ah, yes. But what? Tell the audience so that they can know.
It's
too.
a combustion furnace, Hobbit.
Really?
Yeah.
Amazing. There's so much we can learn from the Spaniards.
Yeah. About forno.
And yes, El Forno. I'm sad. Mileli turned out to be a wank.
what?
He's a libertarian,
He's
and
a wank.
you can't expect too much from him. Can you?
Oh,
Well, he did the visit to the Great Wall of China, and he put on the small Chinese hat, and he started doing the hip thrust motions towards the Great Wall of China. And then he was saying that China is our greatest ally.
China number
oh
one.
God.
Yeah, China number one, exactly.
Yeah.
And then he did a Hawk tour with the Chinky coin.
Chunky coin.
Yeah.
USAID. We did find out that indeed the Ripperverse does have links to USAID. Last week's USAID. Do you find anything else? Nothing else interesting has come out about USAID, does it?
Ah, we've got a Hawaiian.
Oh no, they paid Nintendo to like study man children. That came out as well.
No, worse than that. To study infantilism in
Peter Pan syndrome or something, wasn't it? Like
Peter Pan syndrome and infantilism. So they're talking about the Goo Goo Gaga baby games that Nintendo makes are causing like men to be infantilized. Yeah. Can I just say hello to our Canadian, our Hawaiian audience?
So what you remember back in the day? There was this thing, Nintendo Switch Soy Face. Remember that?
I would just like to say shalom to our fellow Hawaiian humble cabbage farmer. That's their word for hello and goodbye. Shalom. Shalom.
Hobbit, you didn't finish off the conversation about meat. The incredibly intricate cuts of meat that are on a chicken.
Oh yes, we also had a diagram. Can you show it for the audience? So, now, for the radio audience, I'm going to describe the cuts of meat to you. So, the top bit of it is called the neck. The bit below the neck is called the breast. Now, moving further to the right of the breast, you have the leg. And above the leg, you have the wing. Above the wing, which is attached to it,
somebody actually made the time to do the cuts of meat for a chicken.
And I've lost the rest of the diagram because is that Gillian Anderson? Yeah, it is. I know Gillian Anderson is all right, but
well, you are smoking in like 1990.
I didn't think she was that hot. I tell you who I did think was hot though was.
Why do you think X-Files was so popular?
How about Keris Matthews in PVC Hobbit? Do you do anything for you?
No. The one I really liked was that bird from Garbage, and also Daisy from the Late Show.
I think she was in the bird from Garbage was in FHM, weren't she?
Probably, but also the one I really liked was Audrey Hepburn. She's gorgeous.
Daisy Donovan, weren't it?
Daisy Donovan, Melinda Messenger, and Janice Van Alten. Both of those that
I was all about the Kelly Brook.
You flirt all them, would you, Hobbit?
Well, let me just have a look. Let me remind myself of Denise Van Alten. Denise Van Outen.
Van Outen. And she's Dutch though.
Well, it's Flemish. That's all right. Oh, got a fantastic pair of knockers on that. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's good. And let's have a look at Melinda Messenger. Right, she's from Swindon. She is Melinda.
We won't hold that against her.
Oh, I'm so jealous. If I said she had a fantastic pair of knockers, would you hold it against me? You know what? Denise Van Alten, Melinda Messenger, she's all right. The thing is, she's got a nice personality as Melinda Messenger, but Denise Van Alten, oh God, yeah. Yeah, oh man. See, this is what I'm on about Belgian women, right? If you look at Denise Van Alten, she is a solid 6 to 7 out of 10 in Belgium.
Right.
And I'm not even being disparaging. I'm saying literally that is the quality. And it was weird. I was having this conversation with like this Belgian man. He was saying, "Oh, just wait until you see Italian girls." It's like, I've seen Italian women. They age like milk.
True, actually.
I've seen.
Or as one of the podcasts I listen to says, he says men age like Sean Connery and women age like Sean Connery.
And the thing is, right, I've seen Belgian women in their 70s, and I could be like, I can tell you were a looker. Because they even at 70.
What about
like
Helen Mirren's tits, Hobbit?
Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren's tits. Is this from?
Yeah, there's a film where her tits are out. I can't. What film is it, Craig? Come on, you've mentioned it.
Isn't she the substitute queen? Like when they need Queen to be on telly.
Yeah.
Like when they're doing the Olympics and Daniel Craig was like shaking hands with Helen Mirren.
Yeah.
You know, there's like the Queen and all that. That was Helen Mirren, right? You remember the London Olympics with all the Nazi themes in it?
You remember the London Olympics?
Where they're running around
the
years
Olympics,
ago.
running around doing sports. You know, the Olympics.
Noncing the kids in beds. The kids, you remember the kids getting nonced in the beds, all dying of a respiratory disease in the beds. You remember the London Olympics opening ceremony? You know the London Olympics opening ceremony with the 13 pyramids and the eyes and the Illuminati symbolism. You remember the London Olympics? They're running around with the flame of Prometheus, the London Olympics. London Olympics. This is a great opening ceremony. You should watch it. It's great. The London Olympics.
Here you go, Hobbit. Helen Mirren's tits.
So, where have you posted Helen Mirren's tits?
Oh my God,
right,
Helen Hunt nude. No, thank you. Oh my God.
Right, so there's Helen Mirren's tits, right? Let me just have a look at. Do you remember that film Emmanuel? Emmanuel.
I would show you Helen Hunt nude, but oh my God, that's not pleasant at all.
Emmanuel.
Oh my God, that's bad. Don't nobody Google Helen Hunt's tits.
Oh, so on archive.org, there's Emmanuel, the full original movie. I think I know what I'm going to be watching later.
Are we going a bit off piece now? Are we?
I think this is Fortean Words After Dark.
Yeah.
Was her name Sylvia Crystal? Let me have a look. See if it. Oh, cast. Yeah, Sylvia Crystal. I want to have a look at her tits. This is Fortean investigation, right? Who's got the best tits?
Is there a diagram for the cuts of meat on Helen Mirren's tits? Dom wants to know.
We want to know the Fortean properties of Denise Van Alten and Sylvia Crystal's
Well, actually,
tits.
yeah, I've put it up there. It's breast, isn't it? Just below neck.
Yeah, that's it. It's next to the wing.
Pretty much the same as a chicken one. It's pretty much the same as a chicken one, Dom. Breast below neck.
My safe search is set to moderate. Let's turn that off then.
Yeah.
Right, save. So Sylvia Crystal tits. Oh, there's her tits. Let's have a look at. Okay, so for the radio audience, I'm telling you now.
In this cunting gas down at a fucking scrap metal yard, with goats and a fucking bird next door, and that pussy cunting Paul. Where's that cunting money?
So for the radio audience, Helen Mirren.
I love the Foot Soldier films. Actually, I went to an evening with Terry Stone at the weekend, and that was quite enjoyable.
So just to tell the audience, Helen Mirren, nicer pair of tits than Sylvia Crystal, but I think Sylvia Crystal has the nicer nipples between the two.
Yeah,
and I think it's important that the viewers from home know that.
Do you want to talk about your stones now, then, Hobbit?
I would love to talk about. There's the street in Birmingham, and they get.
Is this street in Birmingham?
Stoned.
Is it like Saudi Arabia where you can't get drunk but you can get stoned anytime?
They were getting stoned all hours of the night. Birmingham Street, rocks thrown, Fortean ? Let's do that. Fortean Road poltergeist claim. There we go. That's the one. So let me read this out of the audience. So I hope you've got your Helen Mirren mouse mat ready, and you've got your wrist rested between them, because I am going to read you. Why does Wikipedia not let me do? Where's I got this extension called Invert. That's it. There we go. Now I can read Wikipedia in black and white. This is really short, right? So I'll just read what they say here. The Fortean Road poltergeist refers to the stone throwing incidents in a resident area of Birmingham, England, in 1981, and the subsequent police investigation. In 1981, Ward End, back when it wasn't full of packies, residents of Fortean Road told police they could not locate the source of stones being thrown.
You're not allowed to call them that anymore, Hobbit. You got to call them Amazon enthusiasts now.
Amazon enthusiasts.
Yes, the modern name for them, because
Prime subscribers. Is that what I call them?
They're now known.
You have to call them they're a car.
They are now known as the modern title of cousin marriage enthusiasts.
I thought the newest one was cyclists.
Oh yeah, cyclists. Yeah.
Well, they are enthusiasts of cousin marriage, and I think it's important that we celebrate
and Amazon,
the love.
They're big fans of it. Look, big beautiful Amazon. You can have a big beautiful knife on Amazon. Knife.
They are fans of littering as well. They're very keen on the littering, the Bismillah insurance, and the cousin marriage. So, in 1981, Ward End residents at Fortean Road told police they could not locate the source of stones being thrown that were causing significant damage to windows and roof tiles. Helen Mirren's tits are not as big as Denise Van Outen's. Chief Inspector Len Turley investigated. Oh, it's Len Turley. Len Turley investigated. But he said he wasn't able to. You couldn't commit to it, so he was quickly run out the room.
Is that Turley's mother?
Saying Len Turley said he wasn't able to finish the interview and finished mid-sentence saying, I've just got to go out for a pint of milk. Said his team went to great lengths to catch the individual or individuals responsible. Officers camped outside overnight and reportedly employed night sights, image intensifiers and automatic cameras, but failed to find the source of the stone throwing, prompting some writers to ascribe the incident to a poltergeist. Police later speculated that the stones may have been launched 200 yards from houses using a homemade catapult. Now, interestingly enough, the stones were said to land on people's roofs, and they were all. It doesn't say this in the Wikipedia thing, but I've been looking at some of the rocks.
Yeah,
they're all clean and polished. They're not like something that's been dug out of the ground. They look like. Have you ever been to like a beach or a river?
Could they come from Mecca?
Well, the thing is, we don't know where these stones have come from. But the fact is, they were like, how you put mosquito netting up and stuff like that. They were erecting. Denise Van Outen's tits erecting something. They were erecting chicken pie. Fuck, I love Denise Van Outen. I try to forget like how gorgeous she is, but she's really beautiful. Anyway, they were erecting. Oh fuck, chicken pie. Chicken pie. Right, okay, I need to say this phrase right. A chicken wire fence was put in place.
You know we're going to get another comment on fucking Apple about this, aren't we?
It was put in place, right?
What were they doing? How were they erecting something?
So the chicken wire fences were put up so to prevent further rocks from smashing in their windows. But I just really loved Denise Van Outen.
I mean, thinking about smashing in Denise Van Outen's back doors.
I just wish the love wasn't unrequited. I've never been the same since she turned down my advances. Now, admittedly, she is like 20 years my senior.
To be fair, Hobbit, it weren't you that turned them down, it was the court, weren't it?
Yeah, well, they said, under no circumstances approach within 200 yards. So I was very upset by that. And they said I wasn't to have further contact with her. And it's like, but you don't understand. Denise Van Outen is like, the best woman ever. And she should be my wife.
Yeah.
She was born the 27th of May, 1974.
I've got to say, I feel really sorry for that poor fat cunt that got jailed for stalking Ollie Willoughby.
Yeah.
You see, Denise Van Outen, she's currently 50 years old, but as everybody knows, I'm 6 years old. I was born in 1964, so as far as I think we can make it work, Denise Van Houten.
Yeah.
Look, I know you listen to the show. I know you're a true crime and paranormal investigation fan. Yeah, you're an enthusiast.
Oh, can you imagine this show with a bit of Cockney vim and vigour in it?
Oh.
Well, you see...
there, I've got a ghost story for you, son. Wouldn't she?
Hobbit would
Can you just... when are we going to get Melinda Messenger and Denise Van Houten as guests to talk about the Rendlesham Forest or...
Loch Ness,
Loch Ness. I would love to talk about.
We might be able to get Stan Collymore on to talk about Cannock Chase, but you don't really want to talk about the kind of ectoplasm he was throwing around, really.
Denise Van Houten, I will quite happily show you my Loch Ness monster. I love you, Denise Van Houten.
What's got 1,000 teeth and holds back a monster?
Problem is, she'd be like, where's Nessie? I can't find it. It's disappeared.
Why's he hiding in the bush? Hobbit's come over all unnecessary talking about Denise Van Houten. Do you ever remember Denise Van Houten's single that she had out? Those Two Girls. Did you ever see it? Did you ever hear any of that?
No.
Keep listening. I keep listening. I'll find the Denise Van Houten song and I'll play a bit to you.
Do you guys? Can you excuse me? I've just been sort of overcome with the case of the vapours. I need to go and get some sparkling water.
Come over and all unnecessary.
He needs to have a cold shower, I think.
Yeah, he needs a bit more than that, doesn't he? Oh God, he really wouldn't. He really shouldn't see any of the old those two girls. She wanted to be a pop star at one stage. One of her songs is called "Make You Go." Ugh. It charted at number 74 in the UK in November 1994.
Oh, fucking criminal!
She did well.
74.
Where's he gone for that water? Has he gone for? I think he has gone for a cold shower. I won't say what Uncle Cabbage Farmer said about Hobbit, but he's probably right.
What did he say?
Hobbit's gone to have a fertile. He's looking for old FHMs on eBay.
Printering, so he can.
Hobbit's gone home. Thank you. Look, I don't know what the Hawaiian word. Look, I'm sorry, humble cabbage. The voice of an angel.
Yeah, there you go. There's some Denise Van Houten.
Absolute.
I was going to play "I Want to Make You Go," but I really don't think I should. Do you want to listen to "I Want to Make You Go"?
I will in my private time.
By those two girls. How about this?
Do you remember the Cheeky Girls?
Yes.
I like the Cheeky Girls.
There you go, I bet.
Oh my God.
It's gonna be AI in that video.
So you see, now the thing is, people talk about hybrid vigor, and there are a few examples of it. I'll just say, I'll cite the examples here. Right, Henry Ford, Audrey Hepburn, and Denise Van Houten are all examples of what happens when you mix Dutch and Belgian genes together, and you produce well. How do
you know it's Dutch and Belgian genes? You been rifling around in her family history? You've been through her bins or something. I bet you found all the ancestry stuff she threw out.
You see, her name's Denise Van Houten. The clue's in her name.
Yeah.
And as for Henry Ford, his mother was a Belgian.
How is the clue in the name? I don't know how the clue's in the name. You need to explain this stuff a bit. So
you see, anytime you hear Van in a name, you know you're dealing with a Dutch name, and the same with Belgians as well. If you go to north of Belgium, there'll be lots of Van and whatever.
Yeah.
And I've actually got a designer Belgian chair. I just, if anyone asks me about it, say, oh yes, it's a Van Milhouse. No, it's a Milhouse Van Uten.
Van Uten. Oh, so it could
Van Uten.
It could be related to the makers of that. Could be related to.
I'm just, the Simpsons character.
She might have tested it out and sat on it.
I could well believe it, actually. But Denise Van Uten, if you've ever been to Middlekirk sometime in the past 50 years, please let me know. So anyway, Denise Van Uten, Henry Ford, and Audrey Hepburn are examples of hybrid figure, where you've got an English parent and a Dutch or Belgian parent. And Henry Ford, not the ugliest man in the world, very absolute genius, no one can test that. Audrey Hepburn, most beautiful woman that ever existed.
Good at selling shit cars, weren't he?
And they weren't shit cars.
The fix or repair daily.
And
that's what Ford stands for. Did you know that, Hobbit?
Fix it again, Tony.
Yeah.
No, fix it again, Tony.
That's Fiat.
Oh yeah, fix it again, Tony.
The Ford is the fix or repair daily.
Yeah. So, Audrey Hepburn, I mean, undisputed most beautiful woman in the world to ever existed ever. And Denise Van Uten, yeah, she's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So I'm glad we have done a paranormal Fortean investigation into
Hobbit's now covered in ectoplasm.
And you know what? There has been some ghostly activity tonight. We've talked about beef.
Ooh, Hobbit's trousers are raising up. Ooh, spooky.
There's been some poltergeist activity, not just in Thornton Road, but also in Thornton Road, sorry.
Yeah.
But, in the Hobbit.
Oh, actually, I found a follow-up to it. Did you finish Thornton Road, yeah?
Oh, yeah. So, the chicken wire was the bit I was struggling with.
Yeah. It's 30 years since a Birmingham street was at the centre of one of the city's greatest ever ghost mysteries, Mike Lockley reports. It was dubbed the Birmingham Poltergeist Case. Whoever come up with that name needs knighting. I mean, fucking hell, how did they come up with that name?
And the man who came up with that name, Sir Keir Starmer.
I dubbed this case the Birmingham Poltergeist Case.
Birmingham. Yeah.
Can I just say, I'm legally required to say that I love our democratically elected leader.
Dear leader.
Dear leader, which is democratically elected, Sir Keir Starmer. And he is the right man for the job of Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Great Britain and Northern Ireland. And we here at Fortean Words say, good on you, Sir Keir Starmer, and good luck with, you're doing a great bang-up job.
Yeah.
You are the Denise Van Outen of politics,
We can't
Sir
wait
Keir
to be
Starmer.
conscripted to go die in Ukraine for your glory.
Yeah.
Yes, it will be a worthwhile job. Really is the Denise Van Outen of politics, and I think you'd agree with that.
Residents of Thornton Road, Ward End, still speak in hushed tones about the police investigation that turned into a paranormal probe. Is that a fertile, is it, then? That probe.
Have you ever been fertiled by a ghost?
Yeah. There was a woman that was fertiled by a ghost. It was called The Entity. There was a film about it called The Entity. You seen The Entity?
I think I might have at one point.
Maybe we ought to. I don't know. I might change tack and talk about The Entity after this. The trauma remains for those who lived through the nightmare, which left cops and churchmen baffled. Baffled. For 3 years from 1981, windows were smashed repeatedly by polished stones that seemingly rained continually from the night sky.
Do you know, I just realised something. I've recommended the show to friends and family in real life.
Yeah.
You
played yourself, Hobbit.
You know what? I'm just going to wait for one of them to bring up Denise Van Outen and be like, oh, you are a true fan of the show.
Oh, dear. Roofs. Hobbit, can roofs be damaged, or is it roofs?
I believe the plural of a roof is roofs.
Well, there you're wrong, because a journalist says roofs were also damaged and frightened householders even erected barricade. Oh, God.
We're getting some audience feedback. We're getting some audience feedback, right? The Turley, he's not Ian Shirley, the chief inspector. Actually, no, the chief inspector, Ian Turley, has investigated and found that Denise put the van in her name because Uten is a Dutch name, and it's like, well, that's fine. Yeah, it's great. It's good. Yeah. I love Denise van Uten. She's great.
Denise Uten.
So even erected barricades after what they feared were paranormal attacks. Yet despite
they erected barricades.
Yeah. What they feared were paranormal attacks. So can you prove they weren't paranormal attacks? Like, there's no proof either way. Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence.
Well, that's the thing. They couldn't find whoever was doing. Other people's like, oh, there's got to be a rational explanation for it. It's like, I think there's got to be an irrational explanation for it, because who's going to be like, oh, it's 3:30 in the morning, right? Time to get up and start throwing rocks at neighbours. Who does that?
I've been up since 6 this morning polishing rocks. It's time to go out throwing them.
It's like in the dead of night, and there was even like people saying like, oh, it would start when you just fall asleep. And who is it that was like, no, because I don't know about you, but I turn the lights off in my room, and I can sometimes be up for like a few hours before I go to sleep. Yeah. So who knows? It's like, right, they're definitely asleep now. Time to start throwing rocks.
Yeah.
There's no way a man or a group of men will go like, right, they're asleep now. Right, throw the rocks on their roof. It's not going to be on. And the other thing as well, I'm pretty sure someone would be like, that's a catapult in their room. Hey, what's that in your shed?
Why is there a trebuchet on your roof over there, sir?
Yeah. Why do you have a collection of polished rocks in your garden? In your Zen garden?
Despite round-the-clock surveillance by police officers who camped out in gardens, and hid in trees and set up secret cameras, the culprits were never caught. Even ballistic experts couldn't help. So the gun people couldn't help with knowledge about a rock thrower.
This technology is far beyond us.
In desperation, paranormal investigators and the clergy were pulled in. At the height of the problems, Chief Inspector Len Turley, in charge of the investigation, spoke of his frustration. He said, "We've spent more than 1,000 man-hours on this case. We're keeping an open mind about the whole thing. We don't know why it's gone on for so long. If we even knew the reason for it, we'd be one step nearer."
This is Hemi's natural accent, by the way.
Yeah, Hemi's in his element. This is his natural.
I found an accent I could do for a while.
Now here's the thing, right? So the ballistics experts, they're going to Len and saying it's rocks, Len, but not as we know it.
Yeah. She can't take them all, Captain. The strange case repeatedly made headlines in national newspapers and was even aired on TV by acclaimed sci-fi author Arthur C. Clarke. Do you remember that programme with Arthur C. Clarke? They used to kind of repeat it on the telly.
I never saw it, no. The
titles were great because it had one of the crystal skulls on it.
Wasn't it around about the same time that, what's his name, the American author, Carl Sagan, was having his TV show?
I don't know.
Like they were doing like the 1980s and therefore good version of Isn't Space Amazing with Professor Brian Cox.
Amazing. Even now, householders are torn over whether they were in the midst of a poltergeist activity or simply victims of vandalism. 3 homes, numbers 32, 34 and 36. Yeah.
Just to sort of bring up our favourite Professor Brian Cox, right? If you're so big brain, Professor Brian Cox, then explain why Denise Van Alten has got the best pair of tits I've ever seen on a woman. See, you can't with your big brain and your
PhD
golden ratio.
Yeah.
Isn't gravity amazing? Look at Denise Van Alten's tits; they're fantastic.
They defy gravity. Yeah.
And I'd like to say hello to Hobbit's family who are listening to this.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, the family across the world. some of them are learning English with this show. Would you believe it?
Would you? Okay.
Well, I know what
books then, aren't they?
They've learned Fortean and tits tonight, anyway.
Yeah.
They all know I'm a keen ornithologist. So we've been talking about chicken wire and tits, and
At the height of the trouble, residents placed chicken wire over windows and erected corrugated sheeting. In May 1982, the Birmingham Mail reported.
I feel like I'm in school where you just say.
In May 1982, the Birmingham Mail reported, "As dusk falls tonight on a Midland suburban road, frightened residents will check their barricades and prepare to fend off yet another mystery attack on their homes."
But you remember back in school when the teacher used to say penis and everyone used to laugh? Those were the days.
I mean, can I just say, not one to rest on our laurels?
Yeah, but Fraser, you were still doing that at university.
It's pretty embarrassing when you're doing like human anatomy and you're specialising in surgery. It's like, now we want to talk about the penis.
What's that Tim Nice but Dim thing where he keeps sniggering all the time? He keeps saying something. He keeps making him. The 21 Up one, the one where they go, "You got a girlfriend," and he just goes, don't he?
Yeah.
The colourful piece.
Right, sorry for that side time.
The colourful piece was accompanied by a picture of Evelyn Malcolm with the tin hat she wore for protection. Other householders wore safety helmets and laced cotton thread around their gardens to see if it could be broken by the culprits. Amazingly, despite their property, have these people never heard of catapults?
Oh. Yeah.
Go on then, Hobbit. What are you going to say?
I was just going to say, we got audience response saying "plop" always makes me laugh. I like the word "plop." Plop is a very good word.
Literally, any fart sound will send me into fits. Just any fart sound and I'm off. It's just me. I just can't help it. Amazingly, despite their properties being trashed, the cords was never snapped. Again, catapults. Natalie Holford was just 17 when the attack started her home, number 32. Today she has an open mind over links with the afterlife. She told the Mail, Nowadays, I very much believe in psychic things. I just wish I knew them what I know now. At the time, I said there was someone who knew what was going on, but I'm more open-minded now. It's like being stalked, as if someone was there watching us. The police would leave here at 2 a.m, and by the time they'd reach the police station, there'd be another attack. You could hear the stones rolling down the roof. It was so weird. It always happened when you were falling asleep. I was studying for A-levels at the time, and it took its toll on me. My A-levels were rubbish. Probably because you're brummy.
That's probably genetic, Bob. That's the genetics.
It got to the point where you couldn't sleep. You would just wait for something to happen. It was happening so regularly. And there were police everywhere, and they even put a camera in one of our rooms. My mum was at her wit's end. It was a lack of sleep. The home of Jeffrey...
it is a funny story, and chicken wire and erections and all that. Denise Van Alten's tits. But the fact is... That must be terrifying, right? Like, as soon as you fall asleep, that's when the rocks start happening.
Would he be terrified or just plain frustrating?
Well, there's something I looked up recently because I thought I had something like this. It's called exploding head syndrome. Have you heard of it?
No.
Right. Okay. So basically, what it is it's while you're asleep, you hear noises that sound like bangs or basically noises, like everyday noises, like doors or
yes. I to be fair, I get that. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what you mean.
They wake you up from your sleep. So maybe that's what this is.
Yeah, but why
they
is
actually had the rocks though, didn't they? So this one's different.
And that's
maybe it isn't. But I'm just saying that could be a non-woo-woo explanation.
Yeah, well, it's a strange thing, and I've had it myself, and it's a real pain in the arse. But
I'll get it.
I don't think it pertains to this
The home of Geoffrey Sidebottom and Sidebottom. Is it Botham or Bottom? I think it's Bottom, isn't it? Even if it's TH.
If you're being normal about it's Bottom. If you're being like you don't like the fact that your name is Botham.
Sidebotham, isn't it? Yeah. And his sister Gwyneth Donnelly. What? He's Sidebottom and his sister's Donnelly. What's going on there then? It's sustained the worst damage. She's my sister, honest gov. They still live at 36, the home they shared with their parents. Geoffrey, aged 67, said, "I'm still very bitter. It was an absolute nightmare. This hastened the death of my mother without a doubt." His mother was crippled with arthritis and emphysema, died in 1982. Geoffrey worked nights for the co-op, so was not present when the windows were put through. A likely fucking story, eh? Here we go. You found your culprit, haven't you?
He's got an alibi, has he?
Yeah. But he was sceptical about the ghostly claims. Someone, not something, did it. And he got away with it. You'd upset the whole household. There were police everywhere, even in the trees, freezing, he recalled. Windows were smashed every night by stones. As soon as you replaced one, it'd be put through again. One bed was covered in glass. We weren't fully insured, so it must have cost a fortune. Gwyneth wept as she recalled the nightly torment. The 64-year-old said, "It took my mother's life. As I can remember a stone coming through the window and landing right by her wheelchair. I used to go to bed with a Bible under my pillow and prayed every night for it to stop. A vicar came to our house and he was convinced it was the work of vandals. Police never bought into the poltergeist theory, believing the culprit was using a giant catapult to bombard a giant catapult. How do they determine the size of the catapult?
Well, I mean, if you've got a catapult that can fling a rock over 200 yards, that's got to be... But again, I'm just thinking to myself, like, I don't think it's a catapult. I don't.
Yeah. But surely, like, you know where they're coming from. Like why aren't they checking the houses? If it's a giant catapult, you're not going to be hiding it in the fucking shed, are you?
The other thing,
and there's only one direction it can be coming from. So is it me? So the police are either extremely thick, or they already checked this out and they know it's not a giant catapult.
I'd like to know is like, were there rocks strewn about in the street? Whether they're misses or are they all hits?
Or do they think that someone pulled up in a pickup truck, like, you know, like the other side of these houses, and fucking with a catapult on the back? It's like, I don't think the amount of police hanging around, I don't think someone could have done it.
Actually, you know what? Craig Wilson says you'd need a fucking trebuchet. Let me just see. Maximum. Hang on. Maximum range of. No, these rocks are massive, Fraser.
What are we talking about? Boulders? Are we talking about tiny pebbles?
These are head-sized rocks.
What?
Yeah.
I thought they were little pebbles.
No, these are big rocks.
Okay.
Yeah.
all right. This is a more interesting one. Okay.
Yeah. You didn't know?
No, I thought.
Yeah, this isn't your new. This is a new story for me as well. It's. Yeah. Yeah. It is a real head scratcher, though. It's one of those things.
It doesn't tell you. I was having a look at Black Widows, just to see if we could like work out what a general slingshot the distance is. Doesn't really say.
Yeah, I'm looking at a catapult range calculator, but the site's not loading for me either. What if I type in range of catapults vs trebuchet? I know it's trebuchet, but catapults generally have a shorter range compared to trebuchets. The power of a catapult launch is limited by the strength of the torsion or tension system, or the weight of the counterweight. I thought that was the point. Like, catapults don't have a counterweight. Oh yeah, they do. Yeah, because you can have it on the other side. Well, yes and no. It's tricky, but you can have a catapult which has got a counterweight. Trebuchets are known for their exceptional range and throwing power.
Well, if you got one that big, you will need something, won't you, to keep it in place? Like the only thing I can think of is if they pull up in a pickup truck with like a massive catapult on the back.
Yeah, but wouldn't that, wouldn't there be witnesses saying, "Oh, I noticed there was a massive pickup truck"? Which
yeah,
is
exactly.
Not saying
That's what I'm saying.
Birmingham.
It doesn't make sense, does it?
There's just so much in this story where it's like it is an unsolved mystery, and we're
Did
more
they
than
ever
40.
weigh the stones? Did they ever weigh how much they weighed?
Well, they're head-sized rocks. You can see they're big, aren't they?
When did you
but
see the
they ever
pictures? I
actually
bet
weigh
you got the
them?
pictures.
Let me try and see if I can find them.
I'll read a bit more while you're having a look. In December 1981, Superintendent Baden Skit vowed the officers would get their man. "We've devoted no hour manpower of major hunt proportions," he said. "We are not treating it as a game. A very serious crime is being committed. The culprit holds all the aces, but we'll get him in the end. He'll slip up. He or it never did." That's a very bitter pill for Jeffrey Sidebottom to swallow. "After all those years, I'd still like to get to the bottom of it," he said. "As for the truth, the TV's X-Files famously said, is still out there."
So, poltergeist, Geist rocks. Image search isn't coming up with anything. Birmingham poltergeist case. That's from Birmingham Live. Do they have pictures of the rocks? Oh, this is 30 years on. So this was back in 2012. Yeah. It's 30 years since a Birmingham street was the centre of one of the city's greatest ever ghost mysteries, Mike Lockley reports. He was dubbed the Birmingham poltergeist case. Residents of Fortean Words toward the end were still speaking hushed tones about the police investigation had turned into a paranormal probe. Yet the trauma remains for those who lived through the nightmare, which left cops and churchmen baffled. For 3 years from 1981, windows were smashed repeatedly by polished stones, assuming rain continually from the night sky. And none of these images are loading for me, so I can't see if there's anything here.
Holy shit! Do you know Ward End? I think that's the similar area, isn't it? Ward End. In 2005, rumours started making the rounds of a vicious vampire attacking people in the Ward End area. One elderly man was said to be attacked, with the vampire then turning on neighbours who tried to help him. A woman said he had to have had a chunk bitten out of her hand. Soon the vampire was said to be operating in nearby areas too, like Saltley, Smallheath, Allen Rock. No victims ever came forward, though. Go on then, Hobbit.
There might be worth investigating Ward End. There could be some paranormal stuff going on here.
Yeah. No victims ever came forward, though, and the police were baffled by the rumours. This appears to be an urban myth, police spokesman told the Birmingham Evening Mail at the time. Eyewitnesses claimed the vampire had red eyes, could turn invisible, could turn into a dog, or possibly had rabies.
It's always the red eyes as well. What is it with monsters having red eyes?
Yeah, Thornton Road was Ward End, the same area.
Yeah. So,
how about the Dudley Dorito, UFO?
I'm getting to some new bits now. So in May 1982, the Birmingham Mail reported, "It's dusk falls tonight on the Midland Suburban Road. Frightened residents will check their barricades and prepare to fend off yet another mystery attack on their homes." The colourful piece was accompanied by a picture of Evelyn Malcolm with tin etchy wall for protection. Other news orders will safety out. We read that bit already, yeah. So today she has an open mind over links with the Alpha. Sorry, I can't do Brum anymore. She told the Mail. Oh, you said that bit. So come on, it's just.
Here we go. Do you want to know about Erdington's haunted phone box, Hobbit?
I think it's worth repeating this bit for the audience in case they missed it, or in the case that I missed it when you said it. "It was just like being stalked. If someone was watching us, the police would leave here at 2 a.m. and by the time they'd reached the police station, there would be another attack. You could hear stones falling down the roof. It was so weird. It always happened when you were falling asleep. I was studying A-levels at the time and it took its toll on me. My A-levels were rubbish. It got to the point where you couldn't sleep. You would just wait for something to happen."
I don't think it was to do with any stuff.
Well, no, I'm going to blame it on the poltergeist activity. She could have been a straight A student if it wasn't for the Fortean Road Ward End poltergeist.
I don't know about Erdington's haunted phone box then, Hobbit.
Yes, I do.
A priest and a couple.
Speaking of which, I've got a mate. I think I'm going to dox his place of work, right? But no, I'll tell you the story at the end. It's basically he's working in like one of those estate homes.
Yeah.
And there's a red phone box there, and I said, "Does it work?" And he said, "Yeah, I think so." So I said, "Get the phone number." So I rung him up, and we were talking. He picked up the phone. We just talking to him on the red phone box.
That's not spooky at all, Hobbit.
No.
Oh yeah, but it was the spooky case of why is there a red phone box here in the middle of fucking nowhere?
I thought you were at least going to say, like, his boss said, "What are you doing talking on the phone?" And he said, "Oh, it's a ghost," or something.
And then I said, "Oh, I'm from 1981, and I flew locks in Ward End."
A priest and a couple were waiting to use the old red phone box on Station Road in Erdington. There was a woman inside in a red or pink jumper making a call. The priest got impatient and opened the door. Okay. Red or pink, don't matter. Take your pick. The priest got impatient and opened the door to how long... Very Christian of him, that was, wasn't it? Ask how long a woman would be, only for her to melt away into the cold night air.
Oh, can I just say in the chat, Harvey, you need to calm down. No, Harvey.
Wait, was she on the phone holding the receiver then, or was it like she just standing in the box?
I don't know. It's really bad. It's not good. Do you remember you might remember this from our Cannock Chase episode, but there was obviously the Cannock Chase Man Bear Pig Man. Do you remember this one from the Cannock Chase episode? Hobbit or Fraser?
Man Bear Pig Man.
Man Bear Pig Man, no.
Out in the woods, there's rumours of a half-human, half-pig monster with a large elongated head, making high-pitched squealing sounds as it stalks through the trees. It's been reported since the 40s, immortalised in rhyme, "When night falls, enter the woods at your peril, for inside lurks something worse than the devil. Avoid at all costs the gathering place, where at midnight the pig man roams on Cannock."
And this is why I think our ancestors deforested the whole country
to kill man bear pigs.
Yeah.
Apparently, I heard a podcast where they were talking about man bear pig the other day, and they said that there's some sort of in the area. There's some sort of military testing facility, and they think like they'd done what they'd made it, and they were like, "Oh, what do we do it now? I don't know, just fucking sling it out into the woods."
He'll eat truffles and shit.
Yeah, he'll just eat truffles and be fine. Yeah, but Sarge, it's been 2 weeks now and he's eating people. Well, fucking be alright. Paranormal investigator Lee Brickley claims to have solved the mystery, though. He says that soldiers based in the area in the 40s were tasked with telling the locals tall tales to keep them away from sensitive military operations. This debunking hasn't stopped the flow of reports coming from the area though, so someone is telling porkies whether it's Lee or the local.
Cringe. I just cringe.
What's the Ward End vampire? Let's see if we can find some more about the Ward End vampire, shall we? Now we're talking about the Brubbies.
Why is it with Ward End and fucking vampire?
I know, there's something fucking wrong in that place.
Is it just a turf war between the werewolves and the vampires and Ward End?
Yes, it's Poltergeist Vampire War. Where's Hobbit gone? Is he having unnecessary? Is he having unnecessary thoughts about Denise Van Outen again?
Well, it's not unnecessary thoughts. I just keep thinking what she would have thought about the poltergeist activity and
what she'd do with the sheets, eh?
Yeah. We looked into Birmingham's urban legend from vampires to a valley gator, and this is our verdict. Obviously, there are a couple of journalists, so I think we know the answer to that one, don't we? One, the Ward End vampire. Back in 2005. Reminder, kids, that's 20 years ago now. Police
No,
don't do that.
Police caught wind of the fact that a vampire was operating in Ward End. It started in Ward End before the unverified, possibly entirely made up, nightcrawler started creeping around Saltley's, Small Heath and Allen Rock. Brummies in the area heard that an old man had been attacked. Neighbours keen to help jumped in and met their doom too. A woman had a chunk built out of her hand. That's not a doom, that's a painful. As cops said, this appears to be an urban myth. Oh, fucking hell, that's useless. Big cats a canic chase. Big cats are entirely possible, so there's not exactly really much debunking you can do there. How about this one then? The wee troll. I don't mean if it means wee troll or wee troll, whether it's a troll that wees. Is it a wee troll? It's a wee troll. So actually, it's not exactly what the creature is referred to as, but given everything we said about journalistic rules earlier, we're not going to use the crude P word. What? You can't use words like that.
Crude P. What's the crude P word?
I don't know. I think they're assuming it's a little Asian gentleman. But we, I mean, we. How you know what we mean, especially if you went clubbing down the jewellery quarter in the 2000s. So this wee troll is set to hang around by the canal on Livery Street, waiting for tanked up revellers to nip off down the side of what was then Subway City, now the Tunnel Club, to relieve their bladders off the bridge into the canal. Where the masked troll was said to go to lengths to get a pint of his own to drink, if you know what we mean. Following the flow. You know I'm writing this immediately. I want to redact it. Next. It's how he wrote it. Oh, no. Oh,
so what, are they implying some small Asian man was drinking piss down the alleyways? Is that it? Birmingham, ladies and gentlemen, Birmingham.
Welcome to Birmingham. The Sandwell
and on your right, you have vampires. On your left, we have trolls drinking piss out of the alley.
Yeah, the piss troll. So it's supposed to be the piss troll, not the wee troll. So it was the wee troll then.
Yeah,
not the wee troll. Not the wee troll. This was so the Sandwell Valley Gate. So this was one you might have heard of if you grew up in West Brom or spent any amount of time playing over at Sandwell Valley. The tale goes that in the water of Swamppool back in 1999, a long thing was spotted swimming, a Sandwell Valley Gator. It flummoxed fishermen who said their catches were being retrieved with big chunks bitten out of them. Some people said it was 3 feet long, others remarked it as long as 6, zipping off through the water if spooked. To be on the safe side, Swamppool was closed to visitors over Easter, lest they be accosted by the Sandwell snapper. Its existence, like that of the Loch Ness Monster, remains a mystery. The Mountain Woman, that's her. Thornton Road Poltergeist. Many ghosts of Aston Hall, apparently. Now, this is something we have first experience of. We spotted something or someone creeping around the windows when we went to Aston Hall at Halloween to learn more of the old ghosts that are said to haunt the mansion house. There are a number of spectres said to wander through the old place, from Mrs. Holt to children said to hold the hand of women who visit the historical venue. We can't for sure know what we saw. For sure if what we saw was real, a trick of the light or something more sinister. Not for definite at the time, though. We felt a chill. So there you go. That's from Birmingham Live.
There we go. Birmingham, most haunted place in Britain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Birmingham is a spooky place. Full of spooks now, no?
Actually, I found another thing. It's England's 6 most terrifying vampires in history.
Okay.
Number 5 for supplies here.
The Vampire of Berwick. The earliest known account of... Go on then. What's that a bit?
Oh, just agreeing with you. Berwick, I don't know what that
Barricaded
is.
Birmingham. It's Berwick upon Swede in Northumbria.
Oh, that's from Blum.
That's the far north. That's Here Be Dragons. In the 12th century of England, or Historia I nearly said Rectum, Rerum Anglicarum. Historia Rectum Anglicarum. That's a different history, that is.
Damn near smashed them.
William of Newburgh tells the story of a revenant terrorising the town and its people.
You did Rectum again, didn't you?
Someone that wrecked some chicken wire.
Newburgh details that following the death of a wealthy man, people reported seeing him rise from the grave and roam the streets. Superstitious townspeople, of course, believed the devil was at work. If they didn't act quickly, a plague would spread. Like, I don't know if you guys have done much reading about medieval vampires, but they were fucking horrible things. They were called like revenants. They were kind of like, you know, like the really old zombies in in Walking Dead. Pretty much like a skeleton with flesh hanging off it. Like the old vampire, it weren't some sparkly fucking knobhead who gets his top off. It was just like a fucking horrible thing, a really nasty, horrible, fucking gross thing.
Yeah, what's with this idea of, like, you know, a creature of the undead, which is a festering corpse that feeds on the blood of children, being like, you know, some sort of Casanova figure?
I have no idea where a myth like that would come from.
Glamorized it. Yeah, well, Big Vampire did that, didn't they?
Yeah,
They
Big
didn't
Vampire.
Who was the one that was trying to... Yeah, Big Vampire indeed.
Hobbit, you know who did? You know who did it? It was Bram Stoker.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Fucking...
Before they were just these horrible creatures.
What has Denise Van Elton got to say about Bram Stoker?
Oh, shit. Did you ever see the advert for Visiting Birmingham narrated by Telly Savalas? I've never seen that one.
Hello, my name's Telly Savalas. You will remember me as the Slaphead, what was in that show, you know, the one where I investigate things, but buried in a ball in Colombo.
Telly Savalas investigates. Remember Telly?
Anyway,
remember Telly's here.
Never fear, Savalas is here. Oh, Telly, I was going to be investigating Birmingham today. I've noticed there's a lot of concrete in Birmingham. Oh, that's interesting. Let's go and investigate that then. So, in conclusion, it turns out concrete is a useful material for building Birmingham and erecting various structures like chicken foy.
So anyway, they opened his grave and desecrated the corpse. According to Newburgh, the Revenant no longer haunted the town. But
wait, hold on. They opened his grave and desecrated his corpse.
Yeah, I
thought he got out the grave.
They dismembered and burnt it.
All right, but he got out the grave, didn't he? He didn't go back, did he?
No, obviously he has to go back during the day. Those kind of things still the same.
Oh right, okay. We didn't get the bit where he went back to his grave, right?
Oh yeah. The town. I did miss a huge chunk out. They feared whatever this man would spread, turning others into horrific beings like him. The townspeople followed the man back to his grave when the sun peaked over the horizon. There you go. I missed out two quite important
okay, there we go.
there.
That's it. Right. Okay. Yeah. Cause it's just like, so he went back to his grave. Why would you do that?
The Hunchback of Alnwick Castle. I don't know whether you know this, but Alnwick Castle.
What?
I think, isn't that where the garden from Harry Potter is? It's got like a poison plant garden.
I don't know.
If you're an Amazon enthusiast, you might want to go along there. the Amazon enthusiasts like a bit of gardening, don't they?
Yeah.
The cousin marriage enjoyers.
Yeah, the Amazon enjoyers. You know, the Amazon enjoyers. Yeah. They enjoy Amazon, enjoy getting parcels.
Enjoy consanguineous relationships.
Yeah.
Consanguineous.
So, anyway, Northumberland, a county in the north, has been known for its generous collection of medieval castles. Of one of these castles, the millennium-old Alnwick Castle, is the home of the Duke of Northumberland, and it was the inspiration for Hogwarts. Although it has this pleasant history, something dark once called the castle home, a hunchback vampire that fed on the blood of locals many centuries ago. This all sounds a bit like a anti-Semitic canard to me. Hunchback vampire that offers you a very good deal on a loan. Coming to us again from William and Newburgh is the story of a disfigured horror that has both brought terror and disease to the people of Northumberland. According to Newburgh, this hunchback vampire would come from its hiding place in the castle, raid the villages and feed upon the weak and vulnerable. One night, when the people grew tired of the monster and cornered him with pitchforks and set the living nightmare ablaze, reducing him to ash, they were finally free of this terror that came in the night.
Wait, so when they got tired of it, so they allowed it.
So they were like,
time.
I'm fucking like, look.
It's just dot down the road.
You've killed the ugly daughter. I'll put up with that. But now you're coming after me, pretty daughter. No.
You just got rid of the riffraff. That's fine. Oh no.
Yeah. Now it's moving on to normal people. You got to stop now. Following the years, so the Kroglin vampire. This one is. I don't know where the fuck Kroglin is. Following the years,
Kroglin vampire.
Yeah. Following the years of the English Civil War, there were stories of being born of mankind's darkest dreams stalking the village of Kroglin. Those who saw the being and lived to tell the tale described the vaguely human creature rubbing its hands as having brown shriveled skin and long grotesque fingers that it used to count cease young women by the throat. One well-known story comes from a house in the region called Kroglin Grange, but you never saw the monster on a Friday night, Saturday morning. The vampire allegedly visited a young woman nightly and fed upon her until she fell ill. One night, her brothers busted in and wounded the fleeing creature with a gunshot to its leg.
Oh, poor woman.
It shouted. Then they tracked the vampire to his tomb. They found it sleeping in a coffin. They smashed the coffin and proceeded to burn the vampire as it slumbered. Historians believe the alleged creature of the night was actually a murderous madman with a history of attacking people. Whatever the case, the nighttime attacks ceased and coins remained unclipped ever since.
Why do coins have ridges on them? What's the history?
No one knows. No one. It's just sort of sprung up.
Yeah, it was just. I think it was a fashion statement. Yeah. Every country said, you know what, we like these new coins with ridges on them.
Yeah,
the great design. No one knows why they do it.
Why did people start covering their wells up as well?
Well, the nice thing with it's funny how people were doing that, preventing it, because there was this story where like a group of who, they would go to people's wells and they put vitamins and minerals in them, and people got the wrong end of the stick and thought they were
Craig Wilson says he lives next to Alwick. Never heard of that one. Typical.
Craig Wilson doxed.
Doxed. Craig Wilson last seen getting a bus ticket to Alnwick Castle. The Blandford vampire. Common superstition concern. You can check this one out next time you go and see your dad, can't you?
I was going to say, is that anything to do with Blandford Forum?
Somewhere, yeah, because there's like Blandford. I think there's just like a regular Blandford as well. I think.
Well, the one I know, it's a bit south of Shaftesbury.
Yeah.
And it's called Blandford Forum.
Common superstition concerning vampires: if a Christian defies God by killing themselves, they'll be forced to wander the world as a vampire. You know, my favourite vampire superstition is that one. Apparently, if you throw a load of seeds on the floor, the vampire has to count them all.
Well, in Sesame Street, they got the count, and he's obsessed with counting things.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
It's part of the thing, isn't it? Because, like I say, if you throw a load of seeds on the floor, the thing has to count it. Large sums of money.
Interesting was
interest. They like calculating interest as well.
Yeah. They'll give you a good deal on that business loan.
Yeah, this superstition is commonly found among the religious people of Eastern Europe. However, in the town of Blandford, Dorset, it would seem the local people believe this superstition from a faraway land. Blandford, Dorset.
You just reminded me now. You're not a fan of Bill Hicks, are you?
I'd never really watched him. I watched one bit and I didn't think it was very. He was like banging. He was like going on and on about eating a woman out, and it really weren't funny.
I don't actually. Oh yeah, he was doing the Satan bit. Yeah. Oh, the Goat Boy. Yeah, that's. I played that to someone, and they just really didn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't care if it. The problem was that was the first bit of Bill Hicks over.
That was your introduction. Yeah, the Goat Boy is not a good introduction to Bill Hicks. But he did a similar one with how Madonna and George Michael sold their soul to the devil. And George Michael was hawking Diet Coke, whereas
didn't Bill Hicks say something about the frogs being gay?
At least Madonna had the decency to sell real Coke, and So anyway, Bill Hicks was talking about news stories and how quaint they seem compared to stories in America. Because believe it or not, even as far back as like the early to mid 90s. one of a national headline would be hooligans tip over dustbins in Shaftesbury. And he started seeing this. He says, God, I'd love that to be like, a typical day in Los Angeles, Bloods and Crips tip over bins. And then he started singing the song of, no one knows what it's like to be a dustbin in Shaftesbury. With the hooligans.
Jasper Carrot did a similar thing. And he said about because his whole bit was about how insular the Yanks are. So he does his bit. Yeah. He says like typical American headline would be something like this. It'd be whole of and on the news tonight, the whole of the British family have been killed in an accident. And in other news, there's a parrot. There's a parrot missing in the local town centre. And after the break, more on that parrot.
Well, yeah, I mean, the parrot story's interesting, but it's like with America, they do things called the World Series, and like the only one that participates is the United States.
Well, the Yanks, the Japs play baseball, but I assume they won't let them in.
I don't know what the World Series is.
Let's be honest, Hobbit, it is Rounders, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's Rounders, but Rounders was more fun.
Rounder is something that children play in England when it's the last day of term and you're having a DOS.
That's it.
Yeah,
I always enjoyed.
It's not a sport. It's not. It's a bit of fun. It's something you do when you go camping, or like you've got some time to waste. It's not a sport. I
always enjoyed it when we're doing PE and then like the PE teacher, because I was always happy to get the equipment. I used to go and get the Rounders kit. I was like, oh, brilliant. So Ian's, a couple of the other kids, get bat and balls, and we go around. And you see, the nice thing about Rounders is, unlike cricket, you don't need armour with it, because the Rounders ball is not hard when it hits you.
Tennis ball, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the Blandford Vampire.
We didn't have a tennis ball. We had a Rounders ball. It's not as bouncy.
Blandford, Dorset is a charming market town and a popular tourist destination. Despite this,
they call it Blandford Forum now.
Blandford is also the home to a haunting take of vampirism. That's really badly written. According to legend, William Doggett stole a large sum of money from his master while he travelled abroad. When his master returned, Doggett was so terrified his treachery would be discovered, put a gun to his head and ended his miserable life. I don't know his life was miserable, he just did a bit of stealing.
But that was editorialising.
Yeah, but that was not the end of William Doggett. Oh no. For almost a century following his suicide, the blood-soaked spectre of William Spectre, is that a proper word? Spectre.
Spectre describes like a range of colours.
Is that supposed to be Spectre?
I believe it's Spectre, yeah.
Yes, he's put an A instead of an E, hasn't he?
Yeah, because if you're talking about the visible light spectra, that is correct use, but they're not talking about visible light, are they?
No, the blood-soaked spectre of William Doggett. It wouldn't be a spectre though, would it? Because he'd be solid. Because he's a vampire. Were witnessed.
Unless they're talking about a spectre being like a supernatural, hideous monster.
Is it more than one? Because it says the blood-soaked spectre of William Doggett were witnessed speeding through town in a black carriage pulled by jet-black demonic steeds. Weird. I don't know. This isn't written very well. You need a rewrite. Spooky Isles, you need a rewrite on this one. The ghost of Doggett was known to corner young women in the street, crawl in their windows to feast upon their blood. Kind of sounds like Amazon enthusiasts again, doesn't it? When Doggett's body was disinterred, it showed no evidence of decay. Not all legends of English vampires can be found in the country's past. The last two are of a more recent vintage. The Surrey vampire. Where was the Surrey vampire, you ask, Hobbit? Close to London is Surrey. Close to London is Surrey, and in the 1930s, some mysterious creature was on a bloodthirsty hunt. In 1938, a woman claimed that on 3 separate occasions, a creature she called a vampire swooped out of the sky and attacked her. She further stated that whenever the creature attempted to bite her neck and suck her... whatever the creature was attempting to bite her neck and suck her blood, Whatever this bizarre creature was, it was never ascertained whether it was vampire or something found in the natural world. Oh, you know the swooping winged things that are... Don't just not piss you off, Hobbit. You know the swooping winged things that are always trying to suck your blood.
Oh, interdimensional is a spectra, is the plural of spectrum. That makes sense.
Yeah, but it don't make sense. Is it?
Well, no.
Are they trying to be like over clever because they're saying that it's him and his ghostly horses pulling the?
I think they're just being a bit thick, is all.
Yeah.
Let the journalists be thick with their words.
Mm. So then the last one's the Birmingham vampire, which have already been over.
All the mysterious case of the Birmingham vampire.
Do you want 7 urban myths about Birmingham?
Oh, don't I ever? Yes, I do.
All great cities have urban myths and folk tales. Birmingham is no different.
Really?
However, with enough unlikely stories turning out to be completely true, like
amazing.
Lady Gaga treating punters in the Prince of Wales to a round of drinks, working through the city's urban myths can be a nightmare. So let's make a start. I do hate folksy talking to you, this kind of nonsense. Vampire again, we've already been over that. Gypsy's Curse on St Andrews, you know about this one?
No,
Gypsy's Curse, the Birmingham
let's just not talk about it, just move on to the next thing. It's like, you know, whoever you are, journalist, fuck you, we're not reading out your story. How about that? You don't get featured on Fortean Words because of your folksy, pretend that we're having a pleasant chat. It's like, you're not my friend, we're not having a pleasant chat, go fuck yourself.
Gypsy's Curse on St Andrews. Birmingham City Football Club claim their dismal poor performances on the pitch were the result of a 100-year gypsy curse put on the ground when Romany gypsies were evicted from the St Andrews site in 1906. Well, surely it should be ended by now then. Oddly, Birmingham City's fortunes did actually pick up from 2006 with a promotion to the Premier League and a 2011 League Cup win. If recent seasons are anything to go by, though perhaps someone's put a new curse on the stadium. Birmingham has more canal so this is a myth.
One can use the Venice.
Has more canals than Venice. It is true that Birmingham has more miles of canal than Venice, but it has just 6 actual canals.
Actually, you've only got 6 canals.
Actually, you've only got 6 canals. 11 if you include the Digbeth Branch Canal, Tame Valley Canal, and the 3 loop systems, while Venice has a whopping 177.
Oh,
and I'm pretty sure. The fact is always miles of canal.
Back in 2007, I think it probably was 2007.
Charlie Chaplin was born in a gypsy caravan in Smethwick.
I was saying to my mate, I was in Digbeth bus station, and I was like, currently in the most miserable place on earth. And he says, "Where's that then?" Digbeth. And then when I got the bus to leave, because he was in Derby at the time, I says, currently leaving the most miserable place on earth.
Thanks to Peaky Blinders, this one's taken off again.
I had a good time in Derby.
You were the only
Did you know Derby has an annual Ladyboy competition?
No, I didn't, actually.
There's like a tradition of cross-dressing, and you get points for like being the most convincing ladyboy. They call it ladyboys. I assume there's like my mate Dave.
Have you entered it?
I call him
okay.
I call him my mate Dave, but he's mate in the same way that USA and UK have a special alliance.
Yeah.
The USA says, "Hey UK, it's time to pay for your Lend-Lease loan payment again." And
it says, "Hey USA, I've got tickets for the Trailer Park Boys." Oh, but the gig was last week. You mean that kind of special relationship?
And the USA says, "You still owe us £50 billion for Lend-Lease, by the way." We'll take it in gold because we don't accept your currency because America dollars, whatever.
So the tale began decades ago after the discovery of a letter sent to the Star by a Tamworth resident called Jack Hill. He wrote that Chaplin was born on the Black Patch in Smethwick to a gypsy queen. A few years ago, MI5 files encouraged the rumours. When the UK was asked again by the US to investigate Chaplin's communist sympathies...
Isn't it funny that our intelligence service also has a front selling furniture at discount rates to the public?
Does it?
Well, yeah, you got the MFI sale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the UK
mentions, by the way, this is breaking Birmingham news.
Yeah.
A new species of shopping trolley has been spotted in Birmingham's canal system.
Species.
Bastard,
I'm hoping.
I nearly sprayed beer everywhere just then.
I'm hoping there'll be more details coming up about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not the spraying beer. I mean the shopping trolley.
When the UK was asked by the US to investigate Chaplin's communists, did you know Charlie Chaplin was a commie?
What, Charlie Chaplin was like clipping coins?
Charlie Chaplin was a dirty commie.
Charlie Chaplin,
King of the Gypsies in Smethwick, was a dirty commie.
Charlie Chaplin was stealing the fucking bikes.
But they found no record. They found no record of his birth. It had been assumed that Chaplin was born in London, so I don't think they know.
Is Charlie? You know what? It's understood that. Here's the thing, right? A lot of people will blame the joggers for stealing bikes, but we all know it's Charlie Chaplin. He stole all the fucking bikes.
Hobbit is one you're going to be interested in. How about this myth that chocolate bars come from Birmingham?
Well, they come from the shop.
The first ever chocolate bar, a mix of cocoa powder, sugar and melted cocoa butter, was extracted from the beans, was made in Bristol by Fry and Son in 1847. In fact, Birmingham didn't even make the first milk chocolate bar. Who was that then, Hobbit?
Belgians? Swiss?
Swiss manufacturer Daniel Peter in 1875. Brum's beloved Cadbury didn't make milk chocolate bars until 1897.
Oh, that's quite late to the game.
Yeah.
But do you know what I like about Cadbury, right? They're the Quakers, the Cadbury family, and so, the teetotalers.
Go watch out for them Quakers. It's always them, isn't it?
But the thing is, right, they made a lot of money from chocolate sales, as one can imagine, because, chocolate quite popular. And they became very rich. And unlike, say, the Dalton, is it the Dalton? No, the Goldsons. You've got these various rich families in the UK that were industrial robber barons, I think they called them. Well, the Cadbury family saw that their wealth was given to them by God so that they could improve the plight of their fellow man. And that's why you got the village of Bourneville near Birmingham. And the idea of it's a place with clean air, which Birmingham workers could be at as opposed to working in the satanic mills. Yeah. And, they can have a better chance of life and they're given decent pay and all that. Yeah. And the one rule was saying, well, look, we think we're Quakers, you don't have to live in Bourneville, but if you want a chance of a better life, being that we're Quaker, we are teetotalers. So, look, there's nothing stopping you going to other parts of Birmingham, going to pubs there, but you can't have that here. And then the Cadbury family, they sold out, gave it to Kraft Mondelez, and then the chocolate went to shit. Yeah. There is now a pub in Bourneville called Don't Tell Titus, because Titus Cadbury was the founder of the Bourneville village. And look, I am somebody that enjoys a pint, and I believe that I don't trust anybody that won't drink a glass of wine or a pint. Yeah. But if you're in this village, founded by a Quaker, and you got a pub called Don't Tell Titus, I think that's sacrilegious, and I say that as a Catholic.
It is a bit of a fuck you, isn't it, to the people that created the place?
I don't like it. I think it's insulting to the spirit of the village and that pub. I'm not saying turning into a mosque, which is what they do with pubs, but I am saying, like, can the pub not be a cafe or something? Something more alcoholic.
Birmingham was once the capital of the UK. Absolute bollocks. That is correct.
It never has been.
Birmingham City Council banned Christmas. You're going to love this one, Hobbit.
Yes, believe it. 100%.
This is one of those myths alighted on and used for devilry by swivel-eyed loons. People who swivel-eyed and they're loons. Absolute fucking nut jobs.
Are they also enthusiasts of the hats of tinfoil variety?
Yes. In 1997, the council needed a way to promote 41 days of events taking place over the winter period. which included children in need, city centre ice skating, arts events, New Year's Eve, and of course Christmas. The easy way to plug all of these was under one banner, Winterval. The media jumped on it, however, claiming the city council had renamed and even banned Christmas.
I'm looking at Bourneville right now. It's actually
why wouldn't they just call it Christmas Festival or something?
Sorry, I got distracted. I'm looking at like the streets in Bourneville, and this place is really like they got proper front gardens. It's red brick buildings. This is a really nice place to live, and all of this was made with the fortunes of Cadbury. So rather than just making a massive mansion for themselves, they were like, no, we want this. You see, this is the thing, right? Cadbury is our version of Henry Ford. Henry Ford wanted to employ more workers and give them better wages, and Dodge Brothers sued them and they actually won. And this is like the founding of much of corporate law in the United States. And you see, they argued successfully that the point of a company was to increase value for its shareholders and not to benefit the workers. They won that case, and as we all know, the logo of Dodge Brothers is the 6-pointed star.
Hold on a minute, I've just found some more about this vampire. Okay then, back in January 2005, you listen to this, like this is a wee bit different from everywhere else. On Glen Park Road, Ward End in Birmingham, there were supposedly reports of a black man, some sources claim he was Somalian, in his 20s who bit another man who was walking. After biting his first victim, the vampire pounced on a woman and bit off a chunk of her hand. What happened after that isn't said, but we can assume the vampire fled the scene. It's also worth noting that the paranormal database doesn't say what time of day this happened. So it was just a nutter.
I can't find Don't Tell Titus in Bourneville, but there is a pub called Don't Tell Titus north of Bradford.
That's a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's like, what's this got to do with Bourneville? It's weird. I don't understand that. It's a weird-looking pub as well. It's very pretentious, and it's not a welcoming build. If I walked past this in the street and I didn't know it was a pub, I'd say, oh, that's some sort of clothes shop, or maybe it's an antique shop. Yeah, very, very strange looking.
Huh.
Yeah. The Fortean case of why there's no Don't Tell Titus pub in Bourneville, Birmingham.
They're saying at one point the police caught the vampire only for it to bite the bars off its jail cell and escape. What the fuck? This is bizarre. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say. Very strange. I'm not sure if we've got time to tell this story. No, actually, you know what? We'll save it for another day. But I heard this really weird story, and I think we've covered it before. And it involves possession and a family tying down their possessed family member until he starves and dies of thirst. And then they're all being sent to court, and they're been arrested for manslaughter. And yet somehow none of them get sentenced because, I don't think
I found some more.
There's a case where you can do manslaughter on someone and not face a custodial sentence, because it doesn't matter what the circumstances of manslaughter is. Your actions have deliberately resulted in the death of a man.
Yeah,
and but yet somehow this family, none of them got prosecuted, and I'm just like, who the hell do you know where you can literally kill someone and not spend time in prison? Weird.
Ooh.
Very, very weird.
How about this one then, Hobbit? I found some more stuff from Ward End. In 2006, Tarmac, which is a heavy building materials company, drew up a list of Britain's spookiest roads, with Drew's Lane in Ward End coming 10th. Invisible cars are frequently heard on the road. And then in
You know,
2007, around the Thornton School area, it's reported that orbs were spotted by one Ward End resident. Near the Wahhabi Mosque, the spokesman for the mosque said that they had no part in it. Various sources have claimed to have observed these mystical orbs and studied them. This garnered interest from the British Institute for the Occult to investigate.
Have you ever lived near a motorway? My granddad, he lived not far from one, actually. And you could just hear this constant sort of rushing noise in the distance, and I found it quite a nice sound. I was like, "Yeah, this is quite good." And
when I was a kid, my house was kind of just the right distance from a train track, and that was quite a nice sound, hearing the trains.
Oh yeah, same with my cousin as well. I used to listen to the trains in the night, and I loved that sound.
Let's see if we can find anything about Drew's Road. Spooky Road.
Oh my god! I was looking at these prices and I thought, oh my god, diesel is $1.31 a litre, and lead is $1.32. Yeah, this picture was taken in August 2021.
I found the tarmac spookiest roads, Lynn. Oh, that's the spookiest. The M6 is Britain's spookiest road.
Really? But it's a motorway. It's not an old road.
Sightings reported on the M6 include Roman soldiers, phantom vehicles, and the figure of a lone woman. Other roads to make the top 10.
Okay. Right, because I was going to say, surely the Ridgeway, being the most ancient road, will also be the most haunted. But if they're talking about Roman legionaries, I mean, it's not like... Well, did they build the M6 on existing roads?
I don't know. I don't think so. Other roads to make the top 10 are the A9 and the road to Lochbuie in the Highlands, Platt Lane in Lee, the High Street and Suffield Road in Great Yarmouth, Gloucester Drive in Finsbury Park, the B4293 in Wales near Devowden, the B3314 in Cornwall, and the B1403 in Doncaster, and Drews Lane, Ward End, Birmingham. Nina Ashby, teacher of psychic and spiritual development and energy healing, says, ghosts are passed over souls who have an energetic existence rather than a physical one. Because ghosts exist at a certain level and are nourished by electromagnetic energy, they're often associated with a place where there is a strong current or vortex. In an enclosed property...
Whenever you Smashy and Nicey were talking about ghosts.
In an enclosed property, the perceived effects are more obvious. Severe changes in temperature, disruption of electrical items, objects moved or damaged, or violent moods or influences in atmospheres where people are normally amiable, etc. On roadways, this is also taking place, but because people move relatively quickly along these routes, they're not subject to at the same time to be able to experience or analyse these phenomena. Therefore, they get glimpses of things, creepy feelings, coldness, dark atmosphere, or feeling of oppression for no apparent reason.
I do a lot of ways for journey, but I don't like to talk about it.
Yeah. According to Tarmac's research, almost half of drivers believe they've seen something unidentifiable while at the wheel, although sightings vary from vague to very detailed. With about 41.8 million drivers in the UK, this means nearly as many as 20 million of us have seen a ghost or other spooky sightings on British roads.
I encountered someone in a church once, and I to this day I'm not sure if he was real or supernatural.
Yeah,
but I don't like to talk about it.
Don't like to talk about it, mate.
Well, I mean, it was a bit personal. You know, I was going through a period of really bad grief at the time, and this guy, he prayed with me, and it was. I don't remember the words of the prayer, but they seemed to gave me great comfort.
Oh, the Great Yarmouth sightings. I think they're Black Shuck.
Black Shuck?
You don't know who Black Shuck is, Hobbit? Black Shuck's a phantom dog.
Oh,
the most famous
is he
of all phantom dogs.
Is he the one you see him, and then a few days afterwards you die of a heart attack?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, in which case, I do know of him. Or I do know about him, but I didn't want to go on about it. You remember?
Oh, fucking hell, how about that? Oh, no, this one's bad. This one's bad. So, one Saturday night, so this is the Finsbury Park one. One Saturday night, I'd actually decided to have a quiet night in and spent the evening chilling out with a pizza and a couple of DVDs. At about 12:30, I thought I could hear kids running up and down the street. I remember thinking it was a bit late for young kids to be out and about, and looked out the windows to see what was going on. There's nothing to see, so I got back to relaxing. About 15 minutes later, I heard running again, and there was a knock at my door. I answered the door, but there was no one there. I assumed it was the kids messing about, so went back inside and looked out the window in case they came back. That was when I heard the running steps again, this time right outside my window, but there was absolutely no one there. The steps were so close and the sound so clear. If I'd been drinking, I'd have put it down to the beer, but I hadn't had a drop. It was actually very scary.
So, here's something. I think this is Fortean, right? And I know you could sort of dismiss this as fashion, and fashion is a form of madness. But so, for some reason, I'm thinking of the Beatles song "When I'm 64."
Yeah.
And they're talking about having children, Vera, Chuck, and Dave.
Yeah.
Well, what happened? You know, Vera, Chuck, which is a type of beef, and Dave.
Yeah.
So you don't have girls called Doreen or Vera anymore, do you?
Or Rita. Lovely Rita, meter maid.
I was going to say you don't have any girls called Rona, but that's more a Scots name, so...
Rona Mitra. But she must be getting on. She was like in her 50s now, Rona Mitra.
Yeah.
She was in remember Doomsday?
No, the only Rona
the
I
Scottish
remember
cannibal movie. You know where it's like it's like Snake Plissken, but she plays Snake Plissken. Yeah, but it's about Scottish cannibals.
Yeah, pass. No, the one which I remember, and I was kind of, I thought it was funny in a not very funny way, was there was this comedienne back when, you know, comedians were called such.
Weren't funny.
And her name was Rona Cameron, and she was in a show of the same name.
Was she? She was a leser, weren't she?
Well, funny enough, yeah, a comedian that is a leser. So anyway, she was in the titular show of the same name called, you know, Rona, because, you know, it's about Rona Cameron. And what I thought was funny about this show is the premise of it, which was also similar to both Jack D and Paul Whitehouse did something very similar at the time. Anyway, she did a show called Rona about a comedian that was failing to make people laugh and struggling to make ends meet because she's not a funny comedian. And that's the joke, you see, because she's not very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the same time, Paul Whitehouse and Jack D, they were doing two separate sitcoms, but the premise was the same. One of them was called Lead Balloon, and I don't remember which is which. But they're about unfunny has-been comedians that are past their prime, still trying to stay relevant.
Yeah.
And both Jack D and Paul Whitehouse are doing it. I just thought, hang on, was there like one writer that was writing for Rona, Paul Whitehouse, and Jack D? And the idea behind it is like, let's make this cringe comedy which isn't funny in the fucking slightest.
I think it does seem to be that the comedy industry is very, very incestuous, doesn't it?
The other problem is like, this is the problem with, look, I say this as a recovering leftist myself, right? There's nothing wrong with some lefty ideals. I do believe in compassion and charity for your fellow man, but you got to accept that the ugly truth of leftism is you got a lot of mentally ill people there which are full of self-loathing for whatever reason. You know, I'm not saying that some of those reasons are illegitimate, but because of that self-loathing, it just seeps into everything they do, and it colours everything with this very ugly light, and it just makes them unpleasant to be around. And that's why I say I'm a recovering leftist, because I can't be around these people full of self-loathing anymore. It is, to use their vocabulary, toxic.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say that, but that's it's one of those things. I wish I could have this conversation with them, but they get very angry and they sort of close themselves off when you start criticizing anything. Well, it's just you can't have a conversation with them because they just any sort of thing that's critical, they get very angry and they shut down. And it's just okay, we can't have a discourse here. I thought you were an intellectual and you're willing to have your views challenged. You say you're open-minded, but that's clearly not the case. So you know what? It's just far easier to be a bigot. They call me a bigot, and I say yes, I am. Yeah. And what? Yeah.
Do you want to do some unexplained histories of it?
The unexplained history of what happened to names like Vera, Chuck, and Dave.
Yeah.
When I'm 64.
Oh, you seen the mystery how Campervan ends up upside down in France, Hobbit?
That is a mystery I'd like to know an answer to.
Yeah, complete bellend. Fuck no. What? Have you seen it, Hobbit? You seen the picture? Is
this in the same week where a commercial aircraft ended up upside down?
Yes.
And crashed outside.
But nobody knows how that happened, Hobbit.
That is an unexplained mystery.
That is a genuine mystery. I'll put the link in, Hobbit, if you want to do the article. Because you can show off your French accent.
Oh, ho-hee-haw. Oh, mystery surrounds how Camper ended up in the thing. Let's have a look at it. Why is it every time I say trust website links from explainmysteries.com and they say, oh, right, okay, so this is a thing, right, there. Here's the thing, right? You go over to Europe and you understand, they're more or less like us, They've got rules, they got civilization, they got bins and toilets and sinks, and you go to a supermarket and you can find butter and cheese and ham. But then you just find there's certain things which are just subtly wrong. Like one of the things they really like in rural areas is these soft verges with no curbs and no warnings that there's a soft verge.
Reminds me of that. I had a book on graffiti that's really funny. It was Soft Verges, Warm Thighs.
Oh yeah, Denise Van Alten. Van Alten. So anyway, there's this. I was going to my cousin's because he's got a dairy farm and was getting some milk from him. And the verges there, these are drainage ditches. These verges, they're about 5 foot deep. And my godmother's saying, "Oh yeah, I've seen someone." She was pointing out to the verges, "Yep, their car was upside down there." And they eventually had to get a HIAB crane in order to pull it out.
Well, actually, was it when you were out? You ever done much driving around Norfolk?
No, that's Here Be Dragons in my mental.
Oh right, so what happens when you're in Norfolk? Imagine that. But all the roads are fucked up, they've had trees growing under them, and there's lumps and I've driven through bits where you literally have to drive 20, otherwise the van's going to get thrown off into a ditch. Because it's so shocking. Lumpy bumpy and kind of throwing you around a bit.
Police in Western France were left scratching their heads when they called up to attend. No, they look.
Were they gesticulating wildly as well?
Journalists. Look, I'll tell you now, gendarmes in Western France were left shrugging their shoulders and doing the Gallic.
What?
Bizarre. The bizarre spectacle.
Is it when they Papa Nicole?
Croque Monsieur, cigarette, café au lait, which was photographed by police officers near the city of Saint-Malo at the weekend. Have I been? No, I went to Saint-Malo.
Yeah, but Hobbit, you can see it's not sat like that because they've got the crane on it.
Yeah. So saw the camper van turned upside down.
Nothing but lies, Hobbit.
But somehow suspended partially in the air with its front end stuck in the ditch and its rear end resting against overhead cables.
I don't think it is, though, is it, Hobbit? Because you can obviously see the strings on it.
Well, those are the overhead cables which it's being suspended on.
Yeah.
So it's managed to get itself proper stuck. So this spectacular accident occurred this afternoon in the commune of Saint-Malo-des-Ondes. The police department wrote on Facebook, driver and passengers we do not know, not present. If they read us, we sincerely hope they are well. We suspect intercession of the said in question. According to witnesses, the driver and 2 other people had fled the scene after the accident. I suspect they were partying. Exactly how the vehicle had ended up in such a ridiculous position remains unclear. The driver of the tow truck was called up to retrieve the camper van, couldn't believe his eyes. I've never seen anything in my 22-year career, he said, whilst a fag was perched somehow on his lip as if glued by magic, with ash on it, which hadn't been... Right, I'm not sure what it is with French smokers, but they'll talk, and your cigarette's bobbing up and down, it's glued to their lip, and they've got fag ash on it, which they never tap out.
Is
this
something we need to investigate in a paranormal way, then, Hobbit?
It is the paranormal Fortean subject of French smokers and how they've got like 3 inches of fag ash on their cigarette which doesn't fall off, and the cigarette doesn't fall out of their mouth; it's just stuck there.
Oh, but have you seen the mystery black hole that's in the middle of the middle of the ocean?
Hang on, I'm not done with this mystery yet. I have never seen anything like it in my 22-year career.
85 years. No, that's 80 years.
22-year career.
My 22 career.
Yeah. Investigations, right? They remain ongoing. Da-da-da-da-da.
I bet you've seen them. What exactly is the mystery black hole?
Well, I was going to say, Fraser, there's a mystery here for you. The mystery black hole that has eaten up the methadone supply for Scotland for the next 3 weeks.
Oh, God.
I know.
What do I do?
It's just trees. Don't panic, lads. Don't panic, lads. It's just trees. It's not a hole.
Can I tell this? I won't dox him, right? But there was this taxi driver, and he told me that he says a lot of taxi. Because he's talking about various clients, and he says at midnight you'll get these calls from people because that's when the gyro checks come in. And so they're willing to pay time and a half because it's after midnight, it's antisocial hours, to drive them to a cash point. They get the cash out, drive them to the dealers, and then drive them back home. And so if you're a taxi driver and you're willing to do time and a half, there's a lot of junkies on the dole, the rock and roll to the Americans, and they will pay you
welfare
time and a half.
Call it welfare, Hobbit.
Yeah, they'll pay you their welfare so that they can self-medicate. That's what the Americans called it, self-medicate. Oh, tags France. What if I click on France? See what else there's there. Oh yeah, we've done.
About man kills wife after paranormal meter sparked fear she would eat him. You know the K2 meters?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me save this so I can put it up on screen. Here's a K2 meter for anybody that doesn't know what one is. Bizarre incident saw the man shoot his wife after he became convinced that his life was in danger. In what is surely one of the strangest court cases we've seen in a while, the accused, 46-year-old Jared Wolfe, oh, that's a weird surname, is facing 7 charges, including first-degree murder, carrying a firearm without licence, and aggravated assault. According to court documents, the strangeness began when Wolfe decided to use some sort of meter to check a statue at his friend's house for paranormal activity, and was spooked when it picked up an unexpectedly high reading. This prompted him to descend into a spiraling state of anxiety and paranoia. Or he could have been possessed by a demon. What do you think to that one? Because he was messing around with the paranormal.
People, they sort of... This is how it works, right? They think it's no big deal. And because they think it's no big deal, they're vulnerable, and then they end up getting tricked.
By demons.
Mm.
How about this then? Wolf stated he thought that his wife Jane White and their friends were all trying to kill him and eat him, so he panicked and ran out of the house to retrieve his handgun from his vehicle. Police officer Trey Kurtz wrote in his arrest affidavit. Once at the car, he grabbed the weapon and loaded a live round into the chamber. When his wife came outside and opened the passenger door, Wolf turned and fired the gun. Sadly, her injuries were too severe, and paramedics were able to save her. Shorthand, her organs were in great shape, and they needed to cut her up and sell her off to the highest bidder.
Mm.
That's how American healthcare works, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, they'll charge you $700 for a single aspirin, and the idea is that you're supposed to haggle the price, and it's like, best I can do is 50 cents, and I'm like, 50 cents? No, best I could do is lower it to $350. Okay, 65 cents. I mean, you know, it's this like weird haggling game they do, and it's just I can't deal with that.
Can you actually haggle in life? I didn't know you could even do that.
So literally, like the point of health insurance in America is they'll say, okay, it's $700 for this aspirin, and then you'll get the insurance broker haggling on your behalf. And it's like, well, good deal. That aspirin's cost you $40.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh,
$40. Jesus.
Another thing, right? This is quite surprising, but like one of the cheapest countries in the world to get aspirin, paracetamol, ibuprofen is the UK. So if ever you,
that's what I was saying. Like, how much is that aspirin over the counter costing in America? Like, if it's $40 on the healthcare.
Well, basically, what the Yanks don't realise is they, much like us, all they've done is replace the NHS with massive insurance companies. Like, they haven't actually achieved anything. But we've done we've managed to wangle ours so it's free at the point of use. The problem, I can't remember what my point was, but I had a point somewhere. The point's gone. It's gone completely.
Point being is like everyone ends up paying for it one way or another.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
And the reason
so basically, Yank healthcare is, you know, when you smash your car up and you take and then you have to take it to the insurance approved body shop, and they put loads on extra because it's an insurance job. Basically, that's your healthcare.
And that's the reason why they'll charge $700 for an aspirin, because what they're doing there is they're covering the uninsured users. Like, the reason your insurance is so high and it keeps going up is because the increasing numbers of people that use Bismillah insurance in this country.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you that are not familiar with cousin enthusiast lingo, Bismillah insurance means that you use a prayer as your insurance, i.e. you're uninsured.
No, you're not uninsured because you've done a prayer. Hobbit, does time actually exist, or is it merely a product of the human mind?
I don't know. Ask me next week.
Yeah. Don't know. Seems pretty real to me when I have to get up in the morning.
Instead of that story of time, can I do this one about radiation at the bottom of the Pacific?
I wasn't even going to do the one about time anyway, so yeah, you can.
Yeah, we'll get round to it next week. And scientists have.
Or can we? Because who knows if time exists? We can't do it next week.
Yeah, I mean, you know, is next week even a thing?
Yeah.
Scientists have discovered a peculiar radioactive blip in the depths of the sea, and it is unclear what caused it. No, it's not Gojira, but an anonymous radioactive anomaly recently picked up. So now here's the thing, right?
Is it just trees again? Is that what it is?
What, at the bottom of the Pacific?
Today, that island, that black hole in the Pacific is just trees. So I don't know, maybe.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh right.
Yeah, it's just.
Oh,
trees
is it like is it like a ring atoll, and so like the waves are not coming into this bit here?
Yeah.
But here's the thing, right? So you know how like you got countries insist, it's not Bombay actually, it's Beijing or whatever. If I don't like the culture, then I'm not doing it. If I like the culture, I will. So we call it Godzilla, but the slanty eyes call him Gojira. And I like the slanty eyes. So
mistranslation, isn't it? Gojira means
Gojira.
What does Gojira mean? I can't remember. I didn't know.
No idea. The blip, which consists of a surge of radioactive isotope beryllium-10, was first identified by researchers at the Helmholtz-Zentrum Dresden-Rossendorf Research Institute in Germany.
Dresden, I thought we sorted that place out.
Well, you know, they're doing nuclear research now. We're worried about that. Exactly what might be responsible for the anomaly is currently unclear, but we do know it was likely generated by something that happened around 9 million years ago. I'm glad that we're hot on the case then.
Bomber Harris did some research in Dresden, all right?
He certainly did. How many bombs does it take to turn Germans into melted piles of ash and soap?
Yeah.
So Kurt Vonnegut, sci-fi author, he did a a non-fiction or semi-fictionalized accounting called Slaughterhouse 10. And in it,
I was getting mixed up. Who am I thinking of that did the other Alien book? Oh fuck, what's his name? Oh shit, I can't remember the name of the book. So it's like an Ancient Aliens book, isn't it? What is that fucking book called?
Oh, Chariots of the Gods by...
That's the one, yeah.
Kurt Vonnegut? No, not Kurt Vonnegut.
No,
Eric von Daniken.
Daniken,
Kurt Vonnegut, he was a prisoner of war and he was stationed in a slaughterhouse.
Dom wants to know, is that an LGBTQ meter? No, it's got a plus on it. So it's an LGBTQ plus meter.
Yeah, so he was stationed there, and what they would do is, like, after they do the bombing, is he and the other prisoners of war were stationed to do cleanup. So they go down to these cellars and choking to death on the fumes. And then once they aired the fumes out, they go down there. And what he said was...
Hobbit, I've got an answer for your fagash thing. He says, frogs smoke stuff like drum, don't they? Full of twigs, that stuff probably results in structurally sound ash.
Maybe there is some structural support to it that causes it, but, you know, the jury's out on that.
I'm not sure whether this is a question or a statement. There were aliens in Slaughterhouse 5. I'm not sure whether that's... There were aliens in Slaughterhouse 5, or there were aliens in Slaughterhouse 5.
I've read Slaughterhouse 5. It's just an account of his prisoner of war experience in Germany. And the horrifying bit about it is... So, when you've got so many firebombs going off, the people melt, like their flesh melts, the fat
was
melts.
He in Dresden then, was he?
Even the bones melt. Yeah, he was a prisoner of war in Dresden. That's why it's called Slaughterhouse 5, because he was stationed in Slaughterhouse 5. And he was saying it was just him and the others with shovels, and they're scooping out this like thick, tarry stuff that smelled like burnt lard. And I don't know what burnt lard smells like, but I do know what cooked lard smells like. So I just imagine like that smell, but really bad.
A bit more acrid, isn't it?
Yeah. So anyway, Dresden, Beryllium 10.
There's a similar story that, you know, Jim Jones and the People's Temple, and how it ended with the Kool-Aid and such. Anyway, you've got 1,000 bodies in the South American heat, so you can imagine they got ripe pretty quick. So what they did, they started off picking them up by the hands and feet, but that didn't quite work because
they swell off, don't they?
Things happened. They fell apart. So they ended up they had to pick the rest of the bodies up with snow shovels to keep them together.
Yep. Yeah. So anyway, that's why they were shoveling this stuff.
Yeah.
Beryllium 10 typically arrives on Earth from space, so perhaps around that time there was a sudden surge in such deposits due to a nearby supernova explosion, for instance. Another possibility is that it could have been a major shift in ocean currents around that time. This could have caused the Beryllium 10 to be unevenly distributed across the Earth for a period of time, said study leader and physicist Dr. Dominic Kohl. As a result,
Dr.
Beryllium
Kohl.
10 could have become particularly concentrated in the Pacific Ocean. As things stand, however, the precise explanation for this perplexing anomaly remains elusive. Only your measurements can indicate whether the beryllium anomaly was caused by changes in the ocean currents or astrophysical reasons, Dr. Cole wrote angrily.
What a wonderful language the German language is. Don't they say the German language is the language of love, don't they?
It really is. This is shite love. This is why we plan to analyze more samples in the future and hope that other research groups would do the same. Jawohl. And he was very calm when he was making this thing about beryllium.
Well, they always sound very calm, the Germans. They're very calm and soothing, aren't they, the Germans?
My favourite thing about the Germans is when J.D. Vance says, you don't have freedom of speech, and then the German Chancellor or security...
We need to lock him up!
He basically said, we in Germany find the speech by J.D. Vance unacceptable.
Disturbing.
I just thought no hint of irony whatsoever. I don't think irony is something that's understood by Germans.
That's why they can't do comedy, isn't it?
Well, this is the thing. Like you
have that Henning Venn that pretends he can do comedy, but he really can't.
You know how they say, like, with the there's Americans that don't understand irony.
Yeah.
Well, there are Americans that get irony, but then there's Americans that don't. You have to understand, like, well, some of those Americans have got English lineage, although they always pretend they're Scotch-Irish because, there's that embarrassing thing of, like, saying, oh, I'm not like my dad who's cringe. No, I'm actually Scots-Irish. I'm cool.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Midwestern Americans that are German, and they don't get irony.
Mm-hmm.
Devil's Church Cave. Is that the one in France?
What?
Oh no, it's in Finland.
Later on he gets abducted and put in a zoo. Is that Slaughterhouse 5 he's talking about there?
No, look, Kurt Vonnegut's done a bunch of sci-fi books, but Slaughterhouse 5 is not fictitious.
It's not a whimsical sci-fi tale.
It's just an autobiographical tale of Kurt Vonnegut's experience as a prisoner of war in Dresden and his subsequent. I think, if it's the right one I'm thinking of, he was malnourished, as many of the other POWs, because there just wasn't any food going around. And so prior to being transported back to America, because they were on ships, which took like months to cross the Atlantic, they'd be in these convalescent homes where they'll be fed like really nutrient-rich malted drinks and sort of thick milkshakes. And once
you can buy those in many places at a super malt.
Yeah. Well, so once the doctor said, yeah, you're fit to be transported, they put them on the ship. So he says he spent about 6 weeks in the convalescent home just having like milkshakes until they said, yeah, you're fat enough to survive the trip now.
Mm.
So I'm guessing, like, life on the ship was could have been enough to make them too sick to carry on.
I suppose it takes a lot of energy, doesn't it? Like, because you're like subconsciously coping with the swaying the whole time, aren't you?
Well, I mean, like, I enjoy my ferry rides, which take about 2 hours to cross the English Channel. But imagine you're 3 months at sea.
Yeah.
What must that be like?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it weren't a passenger line they're on with an all-you-can-eat buffet in it, was it?
You've updated the thing. It's no longer showing. I quite like that chicken diagram.
No, we're on to the. How far behind are you a bit?
It was very informative. No, I've only just started looking now. And
Right, are we calling it? Are we?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Right then, night all. Stay.
Good night, everybody.